Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the DrEnderPickles show. Today we have a very special guest, dear friend of mine, MegaAlphaVulcan. What's up, MegaAlphaVulcan? What's going on?
Yo.
I can't say your name too fast, it's kind of a mouthful.
Yep. I came up with it when I was 8.
Yeah, what was
And
the
then,
what was the meaning behind it? What was it based on?
like, my older brother already had a name for himself, and I was like, oh man, I gotta have something cool. So I chose Vulcan from, I read the Rick Riordan, Percy Jackson books, and Vulcan was like one of the Roman gods of like fire or something. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. And then I put Mega in front of it because that's just so awesome as well when you're 8 years old. And then I just threw Alpha in randomly.
Oh yeah, so a bunch of like cool like hero hero adjectives to put
Hmm.
before it. Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
I kind of came up with mine in a similar fashion too, just something stupid that you like throw together that you think sounds really cool back then, but then you think about it in the future and it's like
Yeah.
that's way less cool than I thought it was.
Hmm.
So I want to ask you, when did you first join 2B2T? When was your introduction to it?
Um, I first joined, um, I think it was actually on around the April Fool's map in 2016. Um, I might have joined a little bit before then. I actually shared an account with my older brother. Um, we both heard about the 1.9 release, and we really wanted to start playing Minecraft then. Um, and then I heard about 2B2T from some random kids at school who were talking about it. I don't think they actually played at all. Um, but I asked them for the IP and they told me. And so once we had a Minecraft account, I hopped on it. And yeah, it was very dead. There weren't many people on, but it was still cool walking around spawn, um, seeing how destroyed it was. Obviously, it was less destroyed than it is now, but it just looked so almost surreal because there weren't really anything similar in Minecraft that you could find anywhere else.
Yeah, and was that strange, like joining in 2016 after all this stuff had happened? You're kind of like in the middle of like a huge change right there, because it's going from
Yeah,
old to new. You know, you're kind of
yeah,
right in the middle.
yeah. I wasn't up with all the drama or anything that happened, so I thought it was just a calm server that had an incredibly demolished spawn. Um, but yeah, it was also the first server I played on, so I thought it was completely normal. I didn't play too actively, just like maybe a couple hours a week. I just jumped around spawn, tried escaping, failed like 20 times because I just died to fall damage and hunger. Um, Eventually, I did build a base around like 3K out that I stayed at. It was just like a tiny wood hut. Um, yeah, that didn't do much,
Yeah, who were some of
but
the
I
first people that you met when you joined? Like who still played
um
during that time specifically?
honestly, I really couldn't tell you. Um, I pretty much avoided every player I saw. Um, that was mostly because I was like an idiot in middle school. I was 13 at the time. And everybody hated me, so I thought this a similar thing would be on 2B, so I didn't really talk to anyone. Um, I think I think Oxymoron. I want to say I met him once, and we just like killed a couple new fags or something.
Oh yeah, that's the guy who would stash hunt all the time.
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember he used to make YouTube videos. What does he do now? Have you heard from him in a while?
no, I haven't. Um, I think the last time I saw him was in 2018, and then he started streaming late 2019 or early 2020. Um, just messing around, but I haven't seen anything from him since then.
Yeah, and what were some of the kind of the first? What were some of kind of the first things you did on the server that were kind of note, where you kind of got involved with people from the community?
Um, I definitely got involved in the Russia War. Um, I I think Oxymoron also gave me like a kit with like diamond gear, which was amazing because I finally could walk around safely. Um, and then I completely fell for Fit's propaganda video that he made, asking people to join Team Veteran, and I'm really embarrassed about that. Um, but so I just like s- walked around spawn, killed anybody that wasn't an enchanted diamond. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, I
that
think
must have
that's
been such an interesting time to be on the server. That's actually a time that I kind of missed out on it. I had given up, because of vet queue going down. And it ended up going to other types of anarchy servers. Was there ever that kind of like exhaustion or like lack of enthusiasm when it came to queue right when it was starting off?
yeah, definitely at the beginning, when it was at like over 1,000, um, I just I mean, I really couldn't play. I think I remember one day I woke up early in the morning before school and logged into queue, and then by the time I got out of school, I still had to wait like an hour. Um, but I actually managed to get in, which was pretty funny.
Yeah, that
But
must be
one
a great way to incubate hours in queue. It's just doing something like that and just leaving it on, because you would definitely have to do that back then if you could even make it through without disconnecting.
Yeah. Um, I mean, I only did it once because afterward I saw people talking in chat about how you could log in before you get back, and then you're just sitting AFK and probably die. So I didn't try it again. But then they added vet queue, and good lord, that was the nicest thing.
Yeah, for the short
Was
time that it existed.
Mhm.
I mean, it's such a shame that it got been removed, because I mean, imagine all the people that would still be around if they had the opportunity to join, like using
Yeah,
that. It's
yeah,
so crazy that he got rid of that. But honestly, at the same
hmm
time, like, I mean, it's not completely unpredictable, because I mean, obviously he'd want to make money from everybody.
yeah. I actually haven't been able to play pretty much at all recently because the queue is too long, and I've never bought prio.
Yeah, isn't that
So
strange? We're in the month of November when the server's supposed to be lagging the most, and we have the most people on. It's weird.
yeah, times have changed.
Well, speaking of which, you've been involved in a bunch of different groups. I read up a little bit and talked to a couple of people, and I found out you actually started the Democratic Republic with Gambino. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so Gambino just reached out to me one day and was like, "What if we held a democracy?" And at the time I was one of Gambino's close friends. So I was like, "Sure. Let's do it. That'd be really funny." Um, and we started a server. I think at one point we had up to like 200 people in the server, and it only took like a couple weeks to get going. Um, and I don't exactly remember how we had it, but certain people were chosen to be like candidates for like the democracy. And then eventually we held a vote, and I specifically remember writing this like 2-page Google document about what I planned to do if I was voted for, and it I don't have the document anymore, sadly, but it was just so stupid because I think I was talking about like I will make sure everyone who builds a base builds it at least 1 million out because it's so easy to get there, and it was just so dumb. Um, I know I had one. There was one person who I forget his name, but he like I looked up to him, and then he thought that I was like completely genuine and actually really cool for writing that. Um, so that was really funny. Um, I also remember uh, people specifically like Wayo who was also involved in it. He like advertised in his personal discords, and then I think he had people like making new Discord accounts to vote for him, which was really annoying. I think I ended up placing third or fourth in the first election, which was just to elect one person, um, which was still higher than I thought I'd be. Um, but yeah, that was all. It was an okay concept. I don't think that after there was a full group of people elected that they really did anything. It was kind of still just a concept, and then Wayo and most of his friends were people that got in because um, they could get like uh, new Discord accounts to vote for them and stuff. And then eventually they just like up and griefed the server and deleted it.
Yeah, so what was kind of the cause of all this downfall? Was there anybody kind of conspiring against the group or like plotting to disrupt the democracy?
Yeah, it definitely would have been Wayo. Um, like he got a bunch of fake votes. Eventually there was, I think Gambino got chosen to be one of the people involved in the democracy, and eventually they actually voted to remove Gambino from it. Um, I I don't think there was any actually valid reason. They just didn't like him. Um, so then he got removed, and then I'm pretty sure very shortly after it just got destroyed.
Yeah, so what was the deal with Joey inciting? I heard that Joey Coconut was inciting.
Oh yeah, I don't know too much about it. I just know that Joey was in a very similar boat as Wayo. Joey, of course, was an older player, so he had more ground to stand on and get votes for. But he also just like I think he made a lot of new Discord accounts to give him more votes. Um, it was basically just the same thing Wayo was doing, but I think he probably just had more intention to deliberately undermine the group. Um, he I can't say this with any confidence. This is purely speculation, but he probably was one of the biggest factors in getting Gambino removed. And since Gambino was like the founder of the group, um, having him out made it so that Joey and Wayo had more control to do whatever they wanted.
And where did that leave you after the fact? Like, I mean, obviously the group, we don't hear from it anymore. What position did that put you in the aftermath?
Um, I was pretty much just a bystander. Um, I watched it get destroyed. Eventually, Gambino. I don't remember if it was before or after, but he founded the original Crusade. Um, and I was involved in that. We didn't really do much in that group, except exist. I also remember Gambino and I were planning on making a dupe stash, pretty close to one of the diagonal highways, back when the one of the donkey dupes was active. And then I know he invited Verl to the stash as well. Um, Verl was also pretty close to Gambino, and then Verl ended up griefing it before we even duped anything. Um,
It's cringe.
yeah. So, and after that, I think I just went back to the base I had. Um, I probably, yeah, I didn't do much with Gambino after that. On 2B, he did host his own private server. Well, kind of private. It was more of a 2B clone. Um, Never got very popular, and Gambino couldn't afford to keep it up for too long. But he gave me um, he gave me admin access, and then I duped a ton of items. Um,
As you should, as you should.
mhm. So yeah, I had my own dupe stash. He spawned an end portal for me around like one of the corners of the world. So I was just chilling.
Yeah, and so after that whole conflict with the Democratic Republic, I also kind of want to hear about, your funny rivalry with the Spawn Masons, your the creation of the Jew Masons. Tell me a little bit about that.
Um, Actually, I'm not gonna lie. I don't think I was affiliated with that.
The Jew Masons?
Yeah, I
Oh.
I I might just be completely blanking, but I don't really remember much about it.
Oh, well, I was looking up stuff before. Someone horribly miswrote about you on the wiki page then. See, that's
Really?
this is a textbook example of the failure of the wiki to report accurate and non-biased facts. This is proof right here.
Oh, yeah, I'm on the wiki right now. Yeah, I don't recognize any of these people.
Yeah, it says you're an OG Jew in the group. That's hilarious.
Wow.
So did someone just slap your
Oh,
name on there?
oh wait. Oh, I think I do remember. I joined the Discord, and I
Oh, I
don't think I,
gotcha.
s- I, s- I don't think I sent a single message. And but they just gave me the role of OG.
That is sweet.
Yeah, yeah, that's what happened. Yeah, I never interacted with those people.
That's hilarious then. Okay, well, moving on. Awkward. Tell me a little bit about Point Zenith then, and I hope you're involved in this one.
Yeah, I was somewhat involved. I I heard of Point Zenith mostly because of Satisfaction, who was the leader. He found the God mode exploit, where you could be invincible and invisible and just fly around wherever. Um, and I definitely wanted to be involved and not on his bad side because I did get killed by him. I think around the beginning of the seventh incursion. I was at spawn with a bunch of other people, and then Satisfaction, one of his people, just came through and killed everyone. Um, so then I joined. I didn't get too involved in their building projects. Um, One of the really cool ones was they built like a fleet of ships made out of obsidian, somewhere in the Nether. Um, I think I went over there and maybe placed a couple blocks, but I never really got involved with it. Um, yeah, I didn't do much in Point Zenith either. Eventually, Satisfaction, um, he pretty much closed down Point Zenith and then started a new server. I never understood the point of it. It was almost like a faction server, but the spawn was only like 500 by 500. So it was super small. And then after that, that was when I like have took my long break from 2B that I haven't come back from. So yeah, I wasn't involved much
Yeah, when was that?
with
When was
anything after
that?
that.
When was that ending?
I think that was around the summer of 2019. Once school got started again, I just wasn't didn't have time to wait through the queue. Um, and I just couldn't play much at all. I still tried staying somewhat up to date in some of the discords, but
Yeah, what do you
yeah, I
think?
didn't
What
do
do you
much.
think? When do you think the major change was for 2B for you? That when you really started to notice that the not only the demographic but the culture of the server was going to change.
Um, I mean, the rushers were the first wave. I I still like look down on a lot of the rushers because I just think they're just so obviously like their personalities are so different from what pre-junes are like. Um, and then the ant incursion that didn't like change too much. It just brought in more people. I think the French incursion, whichever one that was, seventh or eighth, that was one of the bigger points in the server. We had unbreakable items starting to get put into circulation. Um, and I think just some of the groups that would like spawn fag, um, they just didn't do it as much. It was more left to the new groups, um, namely Wayos. He's I think he's like one of the most infamous spawn faggers. Um, and then yeah, around late 2019, I don't know. It just seemed like the server's personality changed. Like you'd say the N word in chat, and you'd get flamed for it. It was so weird. I remember doing that a few times.
Yeah, it's like that point in time was kind of the first time where there was a counter to what was known for 2B. You know, it started to become where a lot of the people who were foreign to the server provided a lot more discourse in chat than there usually was. I think at this
Hmm.
point it's kind of soaked back down to its own toxicity once again for the most part. But
Yeah.
there was definitely a point in time there where the discourse was high for sure.
Hmm. Yeah. I kind of miss it, honestly. It was nice seeing all the faggotry that was happening in chat.
It's like Ormonger times 1,000.
Yeah.
But speaking of kind of older times, older players, I would like to know. You said you've been in some incursions. What are some of your memories from different incursions?
Um. Well, like I said, I was in the Russia War. Completely fell for Fitz propaganda. I made my vet shield, and boy, did I wear it with pride. I thought I was like the coolest, the elite of everyone on the server. But it was kind of cool because walking around spawn, if you ever saw someone with the shield as well, then um, at least in my interactions, I would just hold it up and they would hold up theirs, and then we would just go about our ways. Um, the next incursion I was involved in was the seventh. Um, I remember Jared starting that up, and I think I actually got banned from the Discord. And I wrote some stupid rant on Reddit. I think I named it "Ode to Jared" about why I hated him for kicking me out, and then eventually got back in and got a role and everything. Um, I know we were the like the beginners of the spawn water cube. Um, we like started the very beginning of that project. We tried blowing up pretty much all the lava casts we could find. Although it was a lot of work and a lot of TNT, and ultimately we weren't too successful with it. But we destroyed all of the blocks on the bedrock floor in like a 500 by 500 area, or no, 1,000 by 1,000, and then started placing some water down. We got about 6 layers before the incursion pretty much died, and the project was trashed. And then it was kind of cool because it got picked up later, and now there's a full successful water cube at spawn.
Yeah,
Um,
someone was able to fully realize that idea.
mhm. Yeah, and they definitely did it better than we did. We were going like one layer at a time from the bottom up, which was not effective. Looks like someone else did it a lot better.
Yeah, I mean, I
Um,
guess they were able to use redstone machines to kind of push it, man, like automatically.
yeah, and honestly, that's really cool to see redstone getting used more. Um,
Yeah, and in
all I
ways that kind of bypass houses broken plugins.
yeah, and not for something annoying like a lag machine.
I mean, in your opinion, what's something that House has kind of patched that probably needs to be looked at and fixed? That's it's kind of robbing the vanilla game experience.
Um, I guess it's not robbing the vanilla experience, but it's robbing the 2B experience with entity speed. That I I really missed that a lot. Um, I built a base. It was like around about 1 million overworld, and then I would take frequent trips to it. Just go back to spawn, grab some items, like buy some items from people, and then go back out. And it was really annoying to like walk, the 125,000 blocks in the Nether. Um, and then with my limited playtime that I had, because of school. It took like, I think the first time I went out, it took me 2 weeks of walking every day. Um, so I definitely missed that. It made travel so much easier. But now,
Yeah, well, entity speed is back right now.
oh really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it actually came back, that and boat fly.
I didn't know that entity speed came back.
Yeah, every time
Um,
House patches something, he unpatches something else. So
nice. Yeah. Um, yeah, I don't think I've played since it got re-enabled. And obviously haven't kept up with it.
yeah, I think there's also a working e-fly too. It's a great time to be traveling.
I know Elytra's been active, which is also really cool because Elytra's being re-enabled. I think I had an Elytra um, before they got disabled, and then I just felt super slow whenever I wanted to go anywhere. Um, and then yeah, he re-enabled those. I think I logged on once or twice, um, and messed around with those, which was quite cool to be able to use them again.
Yeah, speaking of being able to use things, the server could update soon. It's kind of on the fence about whether how soon it's going to be with the test server and all that. What's kind of your opinion on whether the server even will update?
Um, I I think it's really unlikely. I know House he's made Reddit posts and whatnot about how he's running literally like the maximum settings that he can um to try and keep it, where it is. And I remember we were waiting for some support from Mojang to change something with how servers were handled that would hopefully make running them a lot easier. And then Mojang actually did. And um, I think that made me a lot more hopeful for 1.13 or anything higher to come to the server. But seeing as it's still on 1.12, I don't know how well it's. I don't like its chances of being updated, especially with 1.18 coming out, changing the terrain generation and like the world height as a whole. I don't think 2B's going to be able to run that at all. I know most servers like they won't even be able to update.
Oh yeah,
So
absolutely, and it's gonna have to add more to every chunk. It's
Mhm.
gonna be terrain underground, so every chunk is gonna need to be reloaded in a sense.
Yeah, I really don't think it'll happen, but it would be really cool if House did like a full map wipe. Obviously, it would destroy a lot of history and a lot of cool builds. But it would also, in a way, preserve it. Um, so we could tell stories like we experienced it, and then it would also allow for a completely new map to be griefed and destroyed. I think that's probably not going to happen though. That would probably make a lot of people very mad.
Oh
Um,
yeah, for sure. I mean, I think the map is one of the biggest allures of 2B, and
yeah.
honestly, I mean, well, I agree with you. That would be a great way to kind of bury a chapter in the server's history, a huge chapter. It would also be cool to just to go to spawn and see these new chunks underground. Like what new stuff is going to spawn under spawn? Is there going to be
Yeah.
spawners? Is there going to be lush caves? Is there going to be geodes?
hmm Yeah, it would also be super cool seeing what people are able to do with the new blocks on 2B it ever if they ever get implemented.
Oh yeah, I mean spawn's going to be I would think way simpler to get out of now because there's going to be all those ores down there. And then you got to think
Mhm.
about it too. The underground, like where the withers are, they've blown up like a huge crater at bedrock, and that all that bedrock's just going to become deep slate.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, it'll
it's going
make
to look pretty interesting.
escaping. It'll make escaping like I mean, you'll have to have people bombing
Oh yeah, and
spawn all the time
it makes you wonder how
until it's all done.
quickly all that deep slate's going to get destroyed.
hmm I mean, I have faith in the community. I think they can do it in a couple weeks, maybe.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I also you got to understand that's probably going to be like the least of anyone's concerns when 1.17
Hmm.
comes on. Like it's definitely gonna be like all this other new stuff from updates that have never come. It's just
Yeah.
piled up. But like
Yeah. I mean,
off of that topic, like what's kind of your opinions of the future as a whole? Kind of not just updating, but also the culture of 2B.
um, I don't really like it anymore.
That's
Um,
fair. That's
I
very fair.
I really miss the raw toxicity of 2016 and
Oh yeah, I miss when the
2016
server
and
was a
17.
cancer cell.
Yeah, that was just so. I don't know if fun would be the right word to say, but it was entertaining to say the least. Um, and then I think the server's just gotten a lot softer in recent years.
It's gotten a lot larpier. It's gotten a lot more like
Yeah,
people take it seriously in this different way that I don't think anybody back then would have considered.
yeah,
When
absolutely not.
when they made the stuff that they did. I mean, maybe Sato 86 predicted it. We've created a bunch of Sato 86 Valkyrian ripoffs
Yeah.
instead of the instead of like the actual funny stuff
Hmm.
that made the server what it
Yeah.
was. I mean, that was the character of it back then.
Yeah, that's half the reason why I stayed around because it was so funny reading the shit people would pull off in chat. I also always remember, writing type slash I think it was like type slash kill aura and then some like random code to make people think it was true, but then if they actually typed that command in chat, it would just kill them. And
Yeah,
I
those are
mean,
the days.
I haven't played much, but
You can't even slash
I
kill.
yeah, like it's so dumb.
Yeah, it's insane, man. It's so like it really is like destroying. It's destroying to see like where the server has gone in terms of what they're willing to change and why. It really doesn't make a lot of sense. Like it's like okay, people are telling you to slash kill aura in chat. Like how is that something that is abused and needs to be changed?
Hmm.
And it just goes to it's the same thing with a lot of different patches on the server. It's really disgraceful, especially
Yeah.
especially with the most recent administration because like I would say House of the Past was a lot more lax than House of the Current,
Hmm.
but I guess you
Yeah,
kind of have to be at this point.
there was the meme of blank has been disabled due to an exploit.
And it still hasn't changed. It's gotten even worse. I mean, so and so has been banned due to an exploit now.
Yeah,
It's crazy that you have to say
it's
banned
crazy.
now.
Yep. On an anarchy server with supposedly no rules, now you can literally get banned. That's awful.
Yeah, I mean, what a somber way to end this off, but honestly, a very realistic one. Uh,
Hmm.
I want to thank you for coming on for the interview. I appreciate it. I'm glad I got to shoot the shit and talk about some stuff with you.
Yeah, thanks for
Um,
inviting me.
absolutely, yeah, anytime. This has been a wonderful interview.
Hmm.
All right, and that's it for this interview, folks. See you later. More to come soon. I'm going to be doing a lot more interviews in the future, hopefully. Now that I'm back into the swing of things.